for all you poets and beyond. Learning to breathe anew was never something I expected performing poetry to teach me, and yet it does, and did and does to this day. I used to dread it, getting up in front of people, especially those I respect, to mumble muffled metaphors into a microphone, though now I need it. The nervous knots of my stomach still stick and kick around my guts, but now I've realized it's about channeling that excitement into something serotonin can savor. Excitement, the ecstasy of self, a real rush you can hold on to. Poetry slams have taught me that everyone has something to say if you're willing to listen. Now, I grew up within the public education system where, amongst other questionable things, I learned to be passive. I learned to listen because I wasn't willing to bite. I didn't like fighting to get a word in edgewise. I became an active observer of the chaotic, clouding world around me, and for years I was a sponge in the back of buses and classrooms, drifting through the current, complete with my witnessing the mild neglect and abuse of my peers, and how after years it yielded way to drug use and violence. I absorbed it all in my silence. Now, my last poet professor taught that slam poetry is not poetry. Now, whether or not you agree, slamming has allowed me to realize that I have a voice. I spit. That is to say, I speak to any open ears near enough to receive. Influence is immortality, and I honestly believe that truths, no matter how personal, are universal in some way. Now that is to say, if you were to put yourself on stage reading pen-written pages of prose in front of those you don't know and have one syllable strike like lightning, see someone's eyes soak in your words, then you'd know nervousness was worth it, if just for that pure, perfect feeling flooding inside you and you know that you've earned it. For those of you yet to try, consider it please, for you've always a chance at that weak at the knees, first date feeling, low stakes, dealing with only glory to gain and a few minutes to lose. So find your muse, use it, then remember. Memorize to mesmerize. I'm a sponge to be wrung dry. I'll make ink look like creased pages cried. I shall be absorptive and observe, always listening for what may be missing from the pointless portrait of my person. Making meaning is what matters. Reciting poetry is not the only means to that end, but anything can be poetic if you let it. I guess it's just about how you spit. I learned that I have a voice, and that you do too. We each have 2 ears to translate tears into ink blots, thinking brains that can breathe blood into a page. Perhaps, like me, you could find a different sort of self on a stage. Now, the first time I really found my flow in my old apartment alone, I flipped on the switch, looked in the mirror, and thought, damn, who knew breathing could feel so good?